So a lot of players reach out to me trying to seek some advice on how to cure their putting yips. The putting yips is a very real problem, happens to a lot of players. I personally feel like there's different levels of the yips. There are some players that really struggle with it, where the brain kind of shuts down through the ball, and then there are some players that just kind of feel a little bit of shaking through impact. I personally felt just that little bit of shaking that caused me to struggle to start the ball online last year when I was playing and struggling a little bit. So I actually reached out to a lot of great coaches and players trying to seek their advice. And at the Lexus Pro-Am last year at Pebble Beach, I actually met Johnny Miller, major champion, legend in golf. And he actually told me that he has played his whole career without looking at the golf ball. And for me, that sounded really weird. But the more research that I was doing, I realized that he's probably spot on there, because it's actually the anticipation of impact that creates the yips. It's the anticipation of what's going to happen at impact. Am I going to yip it? Am I going to be able to start the ball on my intended line? A player puts so much focus on that just that moment at impact that their brain kind of makes that happen naturally. Because if you put all your focus on, am I going to do it? You are going to do it. So the best advice that I received for solving the putting yips was to shift that focus from what's going to happen at impact to something else. Okay? So what I started doing was, instead of focusing on the golf ball, I shift my focus to the top of the grip. Sounds pretty weird, but it really works. So instead of looking at the golf ball throughout the stroke, I started focusing on the top of the grips, and all of a sudden that little shakiness disappeared straight away. So I actually have a text here that says Lamking on the top of the grip. You can put your own text here with a Sharpie if you want to, but what I was doing is that I lined up the putter head towards the start line that I want to start it, and then just before I took the putter head back, I looked at that Lamking text and I tried to read it throughout the stroke. Okay, that's a nasty lip out there, but then I didn't feel any twitch in my wrist. So I look at the top of the grip instead. Perfect. Okay, so if you want to solve your yips, shift your focus from the golf ball to something else. What worked for me was to look at the top of the grip, and I promise you it can help a lot of players. So instead of looking at the golf ball and putting all your focus on what's going to happen when I hit the ball, shift your focus and start looking at the top of the grip. Some players like Jordan Spieth, instead of looking at the golf ball and what's going to happen here, he actually looks at the hole. So he shifts his focus to the hole and looks at the hole throughout the stroke. So if you want to solve the yips, shift your focus from what's going to happen at impact to something else. I like to look at the top of the grip. Jordan Spieth likes to look at the hole. Whatever works for you, give it a go, and I hope it solves your issues.